Hey everybody, it's MLB1XNC22 coming to you today with a deck profile of my Element deck. This Element deck, I've used it about a year ago, and then I disbanded it for a while because I got into the Orichalcos, but figured it's time I showed this deck off, so without any delay, let's get started. First up, I am running 3 copies of Evil Zero Underworld Dweller. Pretty much if an elemental, pretty much, yeah, if an elemental hero or elemental dragon monster is destroyed, banished, or removed from the field, I can special summon this card from my hand, deck, or graveyard. And what else he does is not affect my card effects. He can't be destroyed by battle. I take no damage from battles or card effects with this card. And he does piercing damage. And he's got infinite attack and defense. So this right here is my win condition. Alright. Next up, Chargemaster, my elemental dragon. Pretty much he's my negation engine. Pretty much he can negate summons, spells, traps, and monster effects as much as he wants. And he has a 5,000 beater. Next up, Chaotica. What she does is pretty much I'll redo to your effect. Once per turn, for every card on the field, inflict 500 points damage to my opponent and once per turn, I gain 500 for every card on the field. So pretty much, once per turn, I gain. Once per turn, and also, once per turn, my opponent loses. So, yeah, that's its effect. Then, I have the fun elemental dragon, which is Ragnarok. What this guy does is very simple. Pretty much it's got 2 abilities. When this card is normal or special summon, banish all of your opponent's cards on their side of the field. All elemental orb of the elements, elemental dragon, elemental hero monster, or monsters on my side of the field are protected from my opponent's card effects. So this guy, this includes himself. So pretty much, since he's on the field, he cannot be hurt. So, yeah, that's the elemental dragons. Next up, the element monsters. Free element poison, free element dark, free element fire, free element void, free earth, free thunder, free wind, free water. Now, what the element cards do is that when they're normal, they're summoned, I can summon another one from my hand, deck, or graveyard. Next up, 2 element healing. What this does is during each turn, I gain life points equal to the number of cards that have element or elemental in their names on my side of the field times 500. So yeah, that's what this does. Next up, I run 2 elemental drill stream. Pretty much what this does is very simple. During every one of my turns, for every elemental card you control, draw that number of cards from my deck. So yeah, this is my draw power. Next up, my field spell, elemental field stream. Instead of having 5 monsters on the field, I can have 10. Down in the elements, I don't need to explain this if you see my Orichalcos video, it's pretty much the same thing. Just a bit of a reprint. Next up, element transfer. This is my ruler of the deck. What this does is this allows me to add 1 element or elemental card from my deck or graveyard to my hand. Next up, free element culling. What this allows me to do is select 1 element or elemental monster from my hand, deck, or graveyard and special summon it to my side of the field. Simple as that. Next, free Elemental Rebirth. This is my monster aboard of the deck. I get an elemental. I can pretty much get an element or elemental, a most elemental on its name, and bring it to the field from my graveyard. Element change. This allows me to exchange an element monster from my field with one in my hand, deck, or graveyard. Now that's all the spells. Now for my traps: Dark Blood, Calm Haunted, Mere Force, Murder Curse, Dust Tornado, Torrential Tribute, 2 Divine Rafts, another Dust Tornado, Regeki Break, and this Deep Prison. So that's pretty much the element deck. Now, people, to show you the extra deck. This is something I'm going to show you for quite a while. So yeah, this is my extra deck. Next up, okay, Elemental Hero Dark Void. This is my Elemental Hero. This is one of my Elemental Hero fusions. Pretty much once per turn during a player's turn, I can, actually, really it doesn't say that. Pretty much as much as I want is I can send any number of cards from my hand to the graveyard to banish that many cards from my opponent's side of the field. And also the Elemental Hero effect is when this guy's fusion is that when an Elemental Fusion monster fuses the 2 elements or fusion summoned, I can summon one of its materials from my deck. Phantom Steamer. What this does is that it's got 2 abilities. Option number 1, once per turn, I can banish one of the fusion materials from my deck, and I gain life points equal to the materials times level times 500. The other effect is for infliction. Pretty much the same thing. Ray of the Storm. This is my main card. Pretty much, I can discard 1 card from my hand to destroy any card on the field. And if he is destroyed, my opponent takes damage equal to half this guy's attack. Next up, Chargemaster. What this does is that, when this card attacks a monster on my hand side of the field, deal damage equal to your opponent equal to the attack of the monster. So yeah, pretty much my opponent will take damage. Magmaris. Now what this guy does is that I can discard any number of cards made in the graveyard to deal damage to my opponent equal to the number of cards sent to the graveyard times 500. And the last one, Elemental Hero, Supreme King Elemental Hero Neos. This is my newest card. Now what this does. This card can only be contact fusion summoned by the effect of Dawn of the Elements. This card's activation effects cannot be negated or chained. This card cannot be destroyed or banished by your opponent's card effects. If you have divine attribute monsters in your graveyard, you can special summon them to your side of the field. So yeah, that's what that does. So pretty much everybody, that's my element deck. If you have any thoughts or suggestions, please let me know. Until then, this is MLB 11X NC22 signing out.